Hey Chiefs Kingdom, Harrison Graham back with another video just for you guys. As promised, Mailbag Monday here on the Chiefs Report. Thanks to everybody who submitted their questions on last night's grades video. What a big comeback victory it was for the Kansas City Chiefs over the Los Angeles Chargers before Monday Night Football in Week 3 against the Baltimore Ravens. Let's go ahead and get started with Lenny the Cool submitting this question. Any chance of the Chiefs picking up another quarterback? Well, Lenny, I'm glad you asked that question because we actually did a video on this, and it's important because this cornerback depth chart, there's a lot of holes in it. I don't know about you guys, but Bashaud Breeland's still out for 2 more weeks. Charvarius Ward didn't play on Sunday. Hopefully he can return against Kansas City with that fractured hand. He is, like I mentioned, Breeland suspended. Antonio Hamilton is banged up now as well, so you don't have a lot of depth. A lot of L'Jarius Sneed and Rashad Fenton right now and not much else, so there are certainly depth concerns for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, if you want a deeper dive into some cornerbacks the Chiefs could go get, I did a video on this last week, 5 cornerback targets Kansas City could go sign in free agency. That's one of many reasons you should subscribe. You can go check out that video. And another reason to subscribe, it's 100% free, and we got coverage all season long and, of course, on into the offseason. The NFL Draft, free agency, we cover it all here on the Chiefs Report. I suggest you subscribe right now. Little teaser from that video before you guys go check it out after this video is these were 3 of the 5 guys I looked at. Prince Amukamara, Tremaine Johnson, and of course Morris Claiborne, who was with the Chiefs last season. If you want a deeper dive into it, like I said, go check out that video here on the channel. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Next up is PS4 VR, the new frontier. What area of the team needs to improve the most to beat the Ravens, and do you think we can win that game? Well, let's look at the defense from the Chargers game against a Justin Herbert-led team that this was not great. Herbert threw for 311. You did get a couple of sacks there. That's why the pass yards as a team is a little down, but well over 400 yards total, including a $183 rushing. Austin Eckler was running wild in this game. Did have a couple of sacks, but not great on third down, about 50% there for the Chargers. Only 1 takeaway against a rookie quarterback. You got to be better, and especially the rush defense, in my opinion, because you've got guys banged up on the back end. You're going to give up some completions, but this team has really missed Mike Pennel and definitely did against the Chargers. I'll ask you guys this because you asked who you got, KC or Baltimore. I'll do a preview later in the week, so I'm not going to make my official prediction right now. But I do think this is obviously the toughest game on paper on the schedule, and the Chiefs are going to have to play a lot better than they did against the Chargers to win this game. But if you're confident, type KC. If you think it's going to be Baltimore, type BAL. This will be the pinned comment on today's video, so you guys can go ahead and reply right there. Also, looking at the D-line, it's going to be nice to get Mike Pennel back, but can we mention that Chris Jones was bad against the Chargers, especially as a run defender? He got whipped. He got pushed back. Austin Eckler spun off him a couple of times. Not his best work on Sunday. Now, I'm not going to panic and say, oh, no, Chris Jones sucks now. Like, I'm not saying that, but that was a red flag. Frank Clark left the game with an illness. We'll get to that more on that later on in the show. And then the offensive line. This is another area I would look at. The O-line got abused at times against the Chargers. Joey Bosa and those boys, Ingram, they were getting after Mahomes. He was running for his life. That's why he led the team in rushing, because he was having to scramble for first downs consistently. And so I mentioned the defensive line. I mentioned the offensive line. And that D-line and linebacking unit will be important against Baltimore because we know about this rushing attack. Just look at what they did against the Texans. Everybody's getting involved. Gus Edwards, 73 yards on 9 carries. That's pretty efficient. That's about 8 yards a pop. Mark Ingram, about 6 yards a pop. Lamar Jackson, not as much yards per carry, but we know how dangerous he is as a runner. And then J.K. Dobbins, the rookie out of Ohio State, only 2 carries, but 48 yards, including a long, I think, 38-yarder. Like, this rushing attack and offensive line, it has its way more often than not. So the Chiefs' front 7 is going to have to play a whole lot better. Now, if you want to go gamble on this game, you can do it with our partners at BetUS. The early line here, Baltimore, 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is set at 53.5. Again, I need a couple more days to kind of find out where I sit, but if you're confident, if you're ready to go, if you want to bet on this game, you can do it at BetUS when you go to chatsports.com/bet. If you haven't gotten signed up yet, I suggest you do so because we have a 125% deposit bonus deal when you use promo code Chiefs125. What does that mean? When you put down $100, they're going to give you $125 for free. That's going to float you throughout the NFL season. You can bet on all NFL games, including the Chiefs, against the Chiefs if you want. Considering they're playing Baltimore this week, that might be one of the few times you want to do that, but I still feel good about the Chiefs. I'll make my official pick later in the week. Chatsports.com/bet. Again, that promo code Chiefs125 to get a 125% deposit bonus. All right, next up is Cortez Williams. Do you think we should sign Snacks Harrison or Clay Matthews? And we obviously need Prince. I'm not going to talk about Amukamara again. I've covered that a lot. I think they should give him a look, but at this point, it doesn't seem very likely. I'd be on board if they did sign him. Let's look at Snacks here, because I didn't mention this run defense, I should say, has struggled through 2 games, especially against the Chargers. He's the top available nose tackle on the market. He's historically been a really good run stopper. He's 350 pounds. He eats up blockers. Now, he wasn't the same guy last year in Detroit that he's been earlier in his career, and you combine that with the fact that Mike Pennel is returning from suspension. I think this is fairly unlikely, but that doesn't mean he isn't worth a look. This is a guy with a proven track record in a not elite, but a top level nose tackle. And the Chiefs' rush defense has struggled. You look at the past 2 years, with Mike Pennel, run defense good. Without, not good. You can't rely on one guy to be the main difference there, especially kind of a rotation type of defensive tackle. Why not give Snacks Harrison a look? It's certainly worth looking into. As far as Clay Matthews goes, we've talked about him some. I don't love his fit in Kansas City because I know you guys are a little frustrated with the linebacking unit. Willie Gay's not getting much run right now. Clay Matthews isn't really an off-ball linebacker at this point. He's kind of a 3-4 outside linebacker pass specialist. That doesn't fit the Chiefs' defense. They play big defensive ends and linebackers who can range and play against the run and pass and not really blitz. That's not Clay Matthews' fit at the Chiefs' linebacker spot, so I don't think that is super likely. So pick one to sign out of these 2 free agents. Type DH for Damon Harrison. Type CM for Clay Matthews. If I had to pick one, I'd go Snacks Harrison there. I'd type DH for Damon Harrison. But I think with Mike Pennel coming back, that is your answer. At least you're hoping your answer to help stop the run. Mr. Awesome 360 using hashtag Chiefs. Appreciate it. Who do you think the Chiefs' leading receiver will be this year? Well, it's obviously going to be down to these 2 guys, barring injuries, right? Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, they're neck and neck right now. Tyreek has 145 yards. Travis Kelce has 140 yards so far this season. These are the 2 guys. Obviously, McCole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson, some of these other players are going to be heavily involved as well, but I would be shocked if it wasn't one of these 2 guys. Kelce led the team last year, but Tyreek Hill did miss 5 games. So I think it'll be neck and neck. I think both these guys will have 1,000-yard seasons. We'll see who ends up winning it in the end. I'll let you guys decide. More yards in 2020. Type TK for Travis Kelce. Type TH for Tyreek Hill. If Hill's healthy, I'll go Tyreek Hill because he's going to have more explosive plays. But right now it's neck and neck. Hill has a 5-yard lead. Micah Hayes here, and we're going to end on this question. Harrison, what happened to Frank Clark? Any concerns he might have COVID-19? He did leave the game with an illness, but I'm pretty sure we'd know by now if he had COVID. I don't think there's a concern on that front. The concern is that he's dealt with stomach issues in the past. Last season, he was battling stomach pain and stomach issues throughout most of it. Played just 34 snaps yesterday, didn't play in the second half. Or maybe he played like one series after halftime, then he left the game. Can't remember if it was one series or not. Either way, he only played less than half the defensive snaps for Kansas City. And this is a guy that you've invested heavily in. He had 8 sacks last year despite dealing with some of those stomach issues. Had neck pain last year at times as well. You're hoping he's one of your horses this year. Has just 1 sack through a game and a half. Again, didn't play the second half or hardly at all in the second half yesterday. But overall, this is a player that you are relying on moving forward if you are the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not overly concerned, but we don't have a lot of information on what exactly the illness is. Hopefully it's just your traditional stomach bug, and he's back at practice on Tuesday, but we will have to wait and see. Are you concerned about Frank Clark? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Let me know if you are concerned about the Chiefs defensive end. Again, Micah, I'm not super concerned. I'm definitely not concerned that he would have COVID. The NFL has been very strict about that, very cut and dry. If he had COVID, he would not been at the stadium yesterday, and I highly doubt that he contracted it in the middle of the game and they were able to figure it out that fast. I'm guessing he just had some kind of stomach cramps or something like that. We'll monitor this situation moving forward, but Frank Clark is a big part of this defense. Hopefully he's ready to go against Baltimore on Monday night.